What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are sitting down with fellow Bitcoin miner, mining farm operator, and hosting company owner Blake from Musk Miners to talk about the upcoming Bitcoin halving, as well as what we've seen evolving within the Bitcoin scene recently. So let's dive in. All right, guys, we are here with Blake with Musk Miners. How's it going?
It's good. It's good. It's good to be here. It's Friday.
It's Friday, and we're excited. We got the halving coming up here. Based off of when people are watching things, today is April 12th, and we are days away from the Bitcoin halving. So I invited Blake from Musk Miners here. He's a very well experienced Bitcoin miner in the scene from Musk Miners. And actually, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, Blake, what is Musk Miners? Tell us a little bit about the brand and the company.
Sure. Yeah, happy to do so. You know, you said it best. We love to mine Bitcoin. That's our number one goal. We want to stack sats all day long. We host as well, right? I think hosting is a big part of our operation. We have a lot of clients under our belt, which we're very happy with. So we take Bitcoin miners for residential miners or large scale miners, and we run them for them, right, at different operations throughout the United States at a reasonable electric rate, like 8 cents, something like that, around that area. So with that, we give advantages to the people to not have to deal with the heat, not have to deal with the noise of a miner, right? So that's our really big style of service that we've come to love. So otherwise, we just love to mine Bitcoin.
Ah, that's awesome. Don't we all? 100%. So that being said, for you, give a little bit more background for the channel. How long have you been Bitcoin mining? As well as, you know, kind of give us a little bit of a rundown. Excuse me. Is this your first halving, or is second or third, or kind of where are you at with your experience?
Yeah, so this would, I mean, I'm going to approximate it, right? Because we came in around that first, or it wasn't the first halving. Our first halving would have been around 2016, right? Because we started in about 2017. So we got a touch of the last one, but we dove in when things really took off, which is a great time to do it, right around that 2017 mark. So this is going to be one of those things where we're really going to get the full experience. And there's a lot of people with a lot of skepticism in this whole area of mining, of Bitcoin, of everything, right? You don't know where things are going to go. You don't know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be less impactful than we anticipate. I really do. I think we're going to see the markets go where we need them to go. And with that, are they going to go to 150? Are they going to go to 250? Are they going to go to 500,000? Are we going to see a God candle, right? Yeah. All of these terms, all these fun possibilities. I think the best thing that we can do when really considering the impact of the halving is look at the past, right? Understanding past data gives us a really good prediction to the future. And I think that's our best analysis possible. So if you look at it, post-halving, in the previous halvings has shown a really good increase, right? Substantial increases in BTC price, which makes mining more lucrative, right? Because that's the whole goal here. We want to take all the Bitcoin that we're gaining when we mine, and we want that Bitcoin to be more valuable, right? So if the price of Bitcoin goes from 70 to 150 or 250, we're going to be able to sustain the halving just fine. And I think that we're going to see that. We really are. It's just going to take maybe a little bit of time. So what I've told my clients up to this point, because I've been asked about the halving every day for the last 6 months, right? Or 8 or 12 months even. And it's one of those things that we just need to make it through it, right? We need to be able to have machines that are efficient enough, S21, really good example, that have good enough efficiency to make it through and then sustain up until we ride that wave into the bull market, right? So we're not trying to get rich right away. We're not trying to just make all of our money back right away with our S21 miner should a person purchase one, right? We're trying to look at this and say, can this unit get me through 6 months profitably, whether that's profit is $150 a month, $100 a month, maybe more, maybe a little bit less, depending on, at least you're profitable, right? Because with your investment, you always want to be profitable and you're working toward the ROI while you're profitable. You keep that profitability all the way up till you start that wave up. And once you ride that wave up, that's when mining becomes the most fun, right? Because you're taking that energy cost, and you're basically buying Bitcoin
Yep.
for the cost of energy. So if your cost of energy equates to, and we're talking post halving here, if it equates at 8 cents to around $60,000 to $70,000 Bitcoin, maybe call it 60,000, maybe even 50, depending on the cost, and Bitcoin's at 150 or Bitcoin's at 250, you're buying Bitcoin for 50,000 when the market's value is 250, right? That's mining at its finest. That's the best possible way to mine. And the only way to do that is to buy at times like today, right? Because we're low today. Everybody's skeptical. Everybody's afraid. And when that happens, you jump in, right? And we're doing it. We're encouraging our clients to do it. So
that's fantastic. So you talked about a lot there, which is awesome. A few things that kind of stood out to me that I'm very curious on, and you talked about the S21. What other models do you see people buying right now? I know for me, I just bought 5 S21s not too long ago. I'm in the market for buying more. What models do you see people buying? What models do you see people not buying with your team? Today's video is sponsored by the team over at AltairTech.io. I was in the market to purchase one of the newest generation Bitcoin miners, and Altair Tech had exactly what I was looking for. The Bitmain Antminer S21 Pro, 120 terahash Bitcoin ASIC miner. I ordered from Altair Tech via credit card and was amazed at how easy it was to check out. Within 3 days, I had a brand new Bitmain box sitting at my front door waiting for me. Since then, I've ordered a boatload of mining accessories from their store. The Epic UMC control board, as well as 5 of the Altair Tech 30 amp, 240 volt L6 30P PDUs. Go over and check out AltairTech.io today and use promo code @HobbyistMiner for a discount at checkout.
Sure. Yeah. So I think it became a top 3 for us in the last 3 months. Okay. And those top 3s and we're only talking Bitcoin here, right? Because Caspa would be a whole nother subject, right?
Yep, that's
but right. We'll get to Bitcoin first. So the top 3 for us have become the S21, like I mentioned. You can get any of the terahash iterations of the S21, 200, 195, 180, 188. They're all going to have the same efficiency. Just the terahash is a bit different. Normally, we actually encourage people to go with a lesser iteration because it's going to have a lot more value, but a lot of people prefer the 200 terahash, understood. Yep. Second model that's going to be a little bit less efficient is going to be the S19 XPs, right? Okay. The XPs are still very new gen equipment. They're very efficient. If I back up a little bit, the S21 has an efficiency of the 17.5 watts per terahash. You can quantify it as joules, but we just like to say watts because it's easier. So that's 17.5 on the S21, and then you're looking at those XPs. That's number 2, the XPs. Those are going to be about that 21.5 watts per terahash. And then you get to the third, which would be the S19Ks, right? So those S19Ks are going to be running about that 23.5. I know people have said maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit less, depending on maybe firmware, different chipsets, right? Luck of the draw on your chipset kind of thing. So those top 3, we're not really selling anything outside of that, right? And that's just because, there's that efficiency drop off. Like the fourth, I think the only thing that would come to my mind is S19J Pro. And when you get the J Pro, you're getting about that 29 watts per terahash, and maybe even 30, difference. Right? Yeah. And it's a very, very drastic jump. And so when you're enduring the halving, you need that efficiency. You just need to pull less energy in order to endure the halving. Because hypothetically, right, if we look at this from a broad scale, if you considered mining as a whole, maybe you have free power, right? You're going to plug in all the old generation equipment, like S9s, right? Because you're gaining Bitcoin, maybe small amounts, maybe $2 a day, but you're paying nothing to do it. So it's literally free money, right? So if you have less energy costs, less profit inhibition, you're gonna win all day long. So that's where the efficiency kicks in. That's where it makes it so important. Those top 3, I don't think we've sold anything outside of that in the last 6 months.
Yeah. So what do you say? I'm curious on what your customer sentiment is a little bit, because I think this also speaks to a broader audience of Bitcoin miners right now on what are you seeing from, because I've heard with a lot of people that I've consulted with and talked with, some people are super bullish on getting whatever Bitcoin miners they can before the halving. And then I find there's a ton, and I mean a ton of people that have this weird theory of, oh, I'm going to wait till after the halving to buy anything. What are you seeing? What are you recommending to people?
You know, it's a challenge because that question is such a crystal ball, right? You just don't know what's going to happen, and it's almost a best guess scenario. Hypothetically, you know, if you look at it from a really black and white standpoint, after the halving, when your profitability is cut in half, then you would assume that prices of miners will drop. But there's other variables that play into that, right? Demand. What if demand skyrockets after the halving and it keeps price where it is? Because demand is a big player in the pricing of units, right? If something has high demand, it's going to increase in price, especially if it has, you know, a lot of potential in the future, like Bitcoin, right? So people, they can jump in now, they can jump in later. The best thing that I've told the majority of my clients is play the game, right? Jump in, get in the game, just play it. And I think you're going to win because you're doing it at a really good time, right? Because I don't think we've seen the bull market truly kick in. Yeah, we reached an all-time high. I can, you know, that's fair. I get that. I can't argue with that. But we haven't seen the gains that we saw in the past, right? So as long as you're playing the game, doesn't mean you're going to max out at 100% and be like, I got it at the exact right time. I maxed out my profitability, got the exact right miners. I cashed out at the exact right time. You just don't know. Just do your best, right? Jump in when it's low, sell when you think it's high, and then you win, right? And maybe there's always going to be that, like, maybe you sell at 250 and it goes up to 270 and you're like, crap, I missed out on those gains. Well, that's fine. As long as you did well enough to do well. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So Bitmain just recently dropped their announcement of the S21 Pro. Of course, perfect timing around the halving. What are you seeing from your side of the world? A lot of demand there, a lot of interest, a lot of hesitation. What are you seeing?
A lot of interest, a lot of inquiries. You know, it's hard to satisfy because we don't know what's going on. You know, it's always funny how Bitmain does things. They really just don't care. They're like, yeah, we're going to release this, then we're going to do another iteration. We're going to do another iteration, you know, and it's pretty typical at this point. The difference is good. There's no question it's good. I think what is it, like 2 watts per terahash, maybe?
The efficiency is definitely good. I mean, you're getting, I think, what did I see? It was like 30 more terahash for like less than 100 more watts is what it comes down to.
Yeah, super good, right? I'll take that all day. And but the problem with these brand new units, right? And that's why we've seen these 188 terahash and 195s and S21s be decently popular, is because when you get the best, the latest, greatest, best, whether it be the 200 terahash S21 or the newest model, right? That is going to carry a premium in the price, right? Because you're buying the brand new, the most efficient, the best of the best, and the best of the best is always carried a premium. It's just the way economics work, right? So it's like driving a brand new car with, you know, maybe 1,000 miles on it when you buy a 188T, right? It's all the same. You're good, you know, but you're not getting killed by the premium on the price in some facets, right? But then again, there's always times where maybe the demand is high enough for the 188s and 195s to be priced in the same ballpark as the 200s. Things change so quickly, right? It can always differ either way.
Yeah. So halving's coming up here in the next few days. You know, that kind of markers going back and forth off of when it's going to be. Speculations, absolutely speculations. What do you think? Let's start with network hash rate. Based off of what you see out in the industry now with miners and hardware, what do you think is going to happen with network hash rate the first few days? I wanted to show you guys this. So what is this? Well, most of you guys know this is a hash board, right? Well, this is actually an Bitmain Antminer L7 hash board. This was actually the one that went bad and that I did a video on not too long ago. Well, it's back up and working. And huge shout out to the team over at BT Miners. They actually offer repair services. And I really didn't even know that. I wasn't sponsored or anything. I just found them online because I really didn't want to send this thing all the way to China and have to wait, what, months and pay a fortune to get it repaired. So what did I do? I actually found BT Miners offered repair services right in New York. So I looked it up online, filled out some information, wrapped it up and shipped it up to New York, and bam, it's been 3 weeks They sent it back. It needed a few chips replaced and some resolders, but we're back up and working. So just wanted to give a huge shout out. We did get our D9 from BT Miners, and wanted to give a shout out to BT Miners for offering repair services stateside. Go check them out. I'll put a link directly down below, directly to their website. Tell them I sent you. Maybe it'll save you a few bucks.
You got to, I mean, yeah, okay, that's a hard question. I like it. It's a good question. So there's, I think, speculation, approximation, and speculation are what we're doing here, right? I think what we're going to see is we're going to see nothing for the first couple of days, and we're going to, in the following weeks, we're going to see tick offs, kind of drop offs, right? Drop offs of old gen equipment that have the network is catching up to seeing come off. Maybe it's S17s that are being ran somewhere, right? S1995 terahashes, right? That equipment, I think we're going to see that lag start to catch up over a couple weeks time. We're going to see that it decrease the hash rate, the global hash rate from that. Maybe we'll see a difficulty adjustment. That's negative. We love to see that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then in the next following months, I think we're going to see if Bitcoin stays at the price it is today, right? So in the next following months, if we're still at, $69,000 Bitcoin, I think it's at 70 this morning, but 69, if we're there, then we're going to see, I believe, entities, I won't say any names, that can't sustain at the power price they have. And so they're going to start dropping off network. And so difficulty might adjust negative again, which is great for us. All the miners that prepared for this, all of these things that all the miners that didn't buy S19J Pros at, $13,000 a piece or $15,000 a piece. And I'm referring to commercial miners that dove in with capital like we've never seen and all these things. But my point in hand is, or it can go a whole nother way, and then a couple months after the halving, Bitcoin's at 150,000 and everybody's happy, and the network hash rate is going crazy and the difficulty is still increasing, but nobody cares because everybody's making money, right? And that's the name of the game. So I'd say those two scenarios are the best answer I could give.
Yeah, I absolutely agree that we'll see a lot of that network hash rate as days following start to drop off with a lot of these miners that it just don't make sense financially, especially with your block rewards being half dropping off. As normal cycles, what I've heard and seen, as this is kind of my first full halving, and I've gone through the cycles now, is a lot of that low end several-year-old hardware ends up getting bought up eventually to go overseas to different areas where electric is free, or it is so low to the point where it does make sense. So I think you're right. You're going to see S17s that are in the US or S1995 terahash units. Those are going to start to ship off to a lot of these places outside of the United States, which is a majority of my demographic at this point in time. So yeah, super excited. So last kind of question I'll throw out there for you. Are you concerned or are you excited for the halving coming up?
I'm excited. I'm 100% excited. I have no reason to be concerned. I believe in what we're doing. We've always started this with the belief that Bitcoin is going to be $1 million someday. I'm thinking 2035. That's my guess, right? I'll throw that out there as a fun little thing, right? 2035. That's a very Michael Saylor-esque hopes and dreams. But I'm very excited because I think this is a natural thing that occurs in the healthy biological life cycle of Bitcoin, right? And maybe this isn't true biology because there's no true life here. But my point is it has to happen. It occurs in the best possible way because this keeps supply low. Right. And when supply is low and demand either stays the same or goes up, the price has to go up. Right. And there's just too much pressure. There's too much pressure with the ETFs, with the traditional and the commercial and industrial money flowing into the markets. And we see the daily supply into the market decreased that much. And the pressure is still there. It's just ready to blow. Right. And I'm so excited to watch that happen. Now, what I will caution people on, I think, is something that is often overlooked because of the excitement. When Bitcoin gets to 250, I need everybody to understand that when it's at 250 or whatever it peaks at, right, it's going to drop. Please don't forget that, right? That is a so overlooked phenomenon where we know BTC is going to go back into the bear market, right? Economically, everything's a bell curve. Goes up and goes down, up and down. Often when it's up, everybody forgets that the down occurred, right? So let's just plan for it, right? I mean, if that means cashing out, do what you need to do. If you're ready to hold, just mentally prepare yourself.
No, I think you're right. I think the next 12 months will absolutely be some type of roller coaster, as we really don't know a lot. You know, this halving has a lot going for Bitcoin that wasn't there previously. Mainstream media, you know, Bitcoin is more of a household name. You talked about ETFs there, large investment groups, you know, adopting it in. It's like all of that didn't exist last halving, and now it all does. So does that mean that this Bitcoin halving or this bull run is going to match the last one? Probably not. It's going to be significantly different. And so I think I agree with you. I think we're about 12 months out until we do see, you know, some of these peaks, especially getting into 2025, which most people are looking at as well with the election year. I'm like, wow, there's a lot happening over the last 12 months. You know, the economy could definitely be affected by it. So yeah, from my perspective, I am super excited. However, I do like your disclaimer of kind of hold on, that when it's high, it's going to go low a little bit, you know, so definitely prepare for that. Well, Blake, I appreciate you stopping in today, guys. I'm going to put links to not only for Blake down below, but also Musk Miners and everything we have down there, social media, website, everything. Go check them out. If you guys have more questions on buying hardware or hosting, go over and check out Blake at Musk Miners. Thanks, Blake. Hopefully you enjoyed today's collaboration with Blake from Musk Miners. If you're interested in more details on the S21, check out this video right up here. In addition, if you're interested in more content where Blake is involved, check out this video down here where I visit one of the Musk Miner affiliate sites, which is actually an immersion Bitcoin mining site. So check it out.